Namaste. I'm Kamala Devi, and this video is about your spiritual calling. It's a little gift to my friends and lovers who I keep making these invitations, whether it's come travel with me for this retreat or come to this show, and I usually say, meditate on it and see if you're called to join me. And one of my friends finally just said, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I thought, oh, I should probably unpack what it is to have a calling. And this applies to whether it's a vocational calling or you have maybe an attraction to a partner and that question of partner selection, or in the case of I'm going on pilgrimage to Israel and I'm inviting you and seeing if you're called to join me. And the concept is that a calling comes from beyond. It's not just, the mind saying, oh yeah, this looks good or makes sense. And, where beyond the mind it comes from can vary. We are these multi-dimensional beings. We have these incredible frequencies that come from our heart. And then, of course, there's the body that picks up all of our senses and our pheromones. And there's, other parts of us that are operating like extrasensory. Like we don't even have instrumentation in science to measure our consciousness. And this is important because it becomes controversial when we talk about the greater non-physical part of ourselves, and science says, what are you talking about? We can't show proof. It's because a lot of times the instrumentation is in the material form, and we don't have ways of measuring it in other dimensions. So of course there's no way to prove that there's other dimensions. But whether you believe that or not, it's largely accepted that there's a sense of self that's deeper, an essential soul that's deeper than the ego, which the ego is a beautiful tool to keep us congruent with our identities. It's a personality formed to help us cope in, the material world. And calling comes from beyond the personality. So it's a calling because it's something you would never normally do. You're like, whoa, I'm being called. It's like a radical risk for me to take. And that's something that's out of character, and your soul is speaking to you, asking you to grow, to become more than who you think you are. And simultaneously, the opposite is also true. A calling can be like something that you always knew you were going to do. It's like something that you feel you were born to do, or it's in the fibers of your being, or there's no part of you that doesn't want to do it. So whether it's in total congruent alignment with your true self, or whether it's just radically stretching you into new parts of yourself, like a calling comes from, beyond. And so, with that, I invite you to join me in Israel. I have, and then just, feel into whether you're called to do this or any of the other events that I do. But what's unique about my upcoming trip is that it really is like a pilgrimage for me. I went for the first time last year. I went because my dear brother Ohad was having a big birthday, and we created around that ISTA level 1, ISTA level 2, and I actually went despite all kinds of circumstances and stayed longer than I thought I was going to stay. And I thought I was going because it was like, hey, my Jewish heritage, or the mythology and the history and the depth of the Holy Land. But it was actually the spirit of the people. Like in their eyes, in their hearts, I found soul brothers and sisters, and we created a soul community, and it was profound. I got a lot of gifts, and this, I have a lot of gifts to share, and this year I look forward to continuing that exchange. And it really is a stretching experience for me. And especially this year, because I'm teaching advanced Tantric Shamanism, I'll be doing a deep dive into beyond who we know ourselves to be. And I just wanted to mention what a calling is in shamanism, because it can actually, when a shaman gets a call, it can actually feel like a spiritual crisis, like a dark night of the soul, or like an emergency that comes through, like headaches, or like in my case it was seizures, but like really has these like intense physical manifestations that are like breaking away old ways of being and making room for a new channel and new connection to source. And whether that's a gentle calling, a beautiful calling, or a painful calling, it's so profound when we actually surrender to the calling and we show up for it and we learn our superpowers and we're able to give those gifts in the world. So I look forward to sharing more with you about all things related to sex and spirit. For those of you who are joining me, I look forward to being heart to heart in person, sharing breath. Namaste.